Oh man, it's cold as shit here. I am somewhere between Campo and Lake Morena on the Pacific Crest Trail. Today I'm going to teach you guys how to save significant weight in your cook system for free, actually. So let's say you have a stove and you got a spoon. Congratulations, this is your new cook system. Go borrow something from someone else. Honest advice. As long as you're the kind of person who prefers to camp with other people, and like tonight, you know, I ended up alone, but or actually no, last night, never mind, my bad. Yeah, last night I ended up alone, but every so often I end up with people, so I'm not cooking for every meal. You can tell I just woke up. Slept in a little bit today, but yeah, you're not always cooking alone. And when people use these, they use them for like, what, 5 minutes at a time? You know, Alpine Zone, 10 minutes tops. It's like a BRS is 10 minutes. And you got to consider efficiency. When you're borrowing stoves, you have the pick of the litter a lot of the time. So sometimes someone's got a BRS and the next guy's got a jet boil. Anyone who's got a stove has something to boil water in. And personally, I don't care if they're eating it. I'm just boiling water and pouring it in my own container anyway. Like if I want to make Idahoans or Mountain House or whatever the fuck, right? Just keep it simple. Just the fuel. People don't get mad when you use their things and you give it back. They get mad when you take their consumables. That's what I've noticed. So if you ask for a candy bar or a sip of water or to borrow fuel, or if you ask for a pack of ramen, people aren't going to be happy about giving that stuff to you. You know, or if they have only 40 messages in their inReach, they're not going to be happy about you sending a message on theirs. But the likelihood of them getting mad is drastically reduced when the item you're asking for is not a consumable, or something hygiene related, like let's say don't borrow pea rags and spoons. Okay, that's why I carry my own spoon. There have been enough times where I've used chopsticks on the trail. Chopsticks. I don't recommend it. I've done it. It's not fun, but make sure you get the long steaks if you're gonna do that. They work. They do work. Not the best. I recommend trying to get something that doesn't have paint on it. Like the one that I showed you is a bad example, to be honest. But if you were to take that and then spray it with paint thinner and get it down to a bare metal, yeah, why not? Yeah, as long as you can clean it. Yeah, and then I suppose some tents you can pitch, like Z-Pack's tents, for example, you can pitch with far less stakes than are, you know, in your backpack, right? Like I'm carrying 10 stakes, and I probably really only need like 6, or 8 really if I want to be comfortable. Yeah, that's something to think about. So I guess if I ever do lose my spoon, I have options. I always have options. Something that you guys should always think about, right? Try to carry your own consumables, but when it comes to borrowing something like a pair of scissors or a pocket knife, I highly recommend, you know, borrowing those things. Other things that you probably don't want to borrow are clothes and camp items, like a sleeping bag or a tent. Actually, a tent is something that you might be able to get away with not having. If it's not a year like this, where it's, you know, cold as fuck and rainy all the time. If it's one of those years where it's really not raining, you can get away with cowboy camping most of the time as long as you check the weather. and whenever you need to camp, and you know it's going to rain, the strategy for that would be to know it's going to rain 24 hours before the rain. So what that's going to cost you is going to cost you premium weather reports. But if you're willing to pay for the premium weather reports and you're willing to make friends, I suppose sleeping in someone else's tent, if they are agreeable to it, could be an option. But again, like, it's going to cost you something else too. Like, you might have to hike all night. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's something to think about. My suggested remedy, if that is your strategy, would be to go with a ground sheet that could be pitched above you as a tarp. And maybe some kind of thicker mid-layer insulation that fits under your rain gear so that it's not getting wet. Because let's say you're putting your foam pad like this one on the ground, it's getting wet, right? But if you're just going to take a nap with your shell layer on, the chances of whatever is underneath is getting wet, especially if you're under a tarp, is not that high, especially if you pitch in a good spot. So it's certainly possible to carry an emergency shelter and not have a tent. I don't recommend it. But yeah, there are a lot of things you can do to save weight. And this is my favorite way to save weight. My favorite way to save weight. And if you notice, yeah, I drilled holes in the spoon. Now the spoon weighs the same as this fork. And it is just as functional. You can see it's not bending at all. Yeah. I guess the next time I'll make a video about saving weight, I'll probably mention the sleeping bag technique, how to save weight with a sleeping bag. Yeah. I'm opening and closing this zipper so much. You guys, you stay safe and have fun. Please don't be a dumbass. And the number one way you can be a dumbass is to overpack. And yeah, I think dumbass is the wrong word. Let's say don't be naive. Listen to your elders, respect them, and learn from their mistakes. You know, not everyone should be carrying everything. There are people that can carry everything and be fine. Most of you are not that person. I used to think I was, but I'm not. So don't be naive. Carry what you need and don't carry anything else. That's my advice. So hope you guys save some weight so you can save your body and not get injured like I did 2 years in a row. Peace.